this is Joseph J McAllister, and today I'm taking time to check out my coffins. So right now I have 9 coffins, and I'll tell you, these are really cool. Actually, you know, I wouldn't mind having like 20 coffins or something, or maybe 30. You know, like if I had like the space for lots and lots of coffins. But you know, I don't mind making space for them either, but I'll tell you, like, they are really heavy. These metal ones aren't too bad. You can move these around. Now, these square type ones are actually called caskets, and they're like a newer version of a coffin. And the square shape, basically, people say it has to do with it's less kind of morbid and depressing to think of a body being in there. You know, it's just like a square streamlined metal box, whereas like when you look at the old toe pincher coffins, it's shaped like a body, and it really reminds people that yeah, there is a body in there. Of course there isn't one in this one. There's a skeleton in there, but it's not a real skeleton. But it kind of reminds people too much of like the shape of a body, and it's kind of, you know, if you're at a funeral and then like it could just be like the thing that triggers you to start crying like crazy that somebody's dead. And you know, of course it's very depressing. But you know, where like, you know, a very square box, it's supposed to be all, you know, just like beautiful and sleek, and it kind of takes your mind off of that somebody died, at least a little bit. So I'm no expert on coffins and caskets, and of course this one's called a casket and the old style is the coffin. I always mess that up, but I am learning a few things about it just because I have so many right now. Like a lot of times the bottom, which is smaller than the top section, so you got more viewing area on the top, and that's why if you look at it, you can tell the top section is bigger without having to open it up. But one thing, as you can see, the bottom sections are usually not, they don't bother with all the decorativeness because they're usually just going to open up the top part and not the full thing. Now, like a full couch is where the entire lid opens at once. This is called a half couch perfection model. And correct me if I get anything wrong. Like I said, I'm no expert on it. And this is the lower end right here, and this is adjustable. That takes a coffin key, raises the bed up and down. And of course, the top end is adjustable as well. There's another coffin key port, which is basically a glorified Allen wrench. And there's the coffin key right there. So it's basically an Allen wrench, and then you crank it and you can lock down the coffins or raise or lower the bed. Now all of these coffins are a little different, but this swing arm on these metal ones, that locks into place, and if you want to bring it down, you've got to unlock it. See how it clicked into place right there? And if you just crank on this and try to pull it down real fast, you're going to break this arm, and then your coffin's not going to be any good. So you got to really be careful. And same on this side, and you really got to know what you're doing before you start playing around with these coffins. Now this stuff right here is actually just cardboard, and this is like some kind of plastic or something. But usually it will be like a cardboard, and then it has like crinkled fabric that's like specially made. We'll just be like stretch over this, and then I think they just stuff it in here. A lot of these aren't like really sewn together like super well or anything. They're just kind of like things that are stuffed into place. Like this probably just crammed in there. You could pull it loose and it'd just be like a sheet of crinkled fabric. Now you can see this one right here is missing the bed, which makes it soft. So if you think about this, this isn't like super comfortable, right? You won't want to lay on that. But if you put like a couple rolls of padding and then you put the sheet on it and you just kind of like cram it in on the sides, then yeah, then it's like super comfortable. You can lay down. Now this fabric that was all crammed in there actually is supposed to fold out like that, and it kind of looks like a giant doily, to be honest. It kind of I think it looks better when it's like folded inside, but that's not really what it's supposed to look like. Now, if you were by yourself, I wouldn't get in and close the lid on this thing because, you know, right now it is set to just open up, and that side opens up first and then this side. But the thing is that you gotta be aware of is that these things do have locks on them, and this one is at the very bottom corner, and so I think this is, oh, that's going into lock position. But basically they all have locks on them, and they're different locks, and some of them I think you could close the door and you'd just be stuck in there, and unless somebody was around to let you out, that'd probably be it. So you can mess around with these all you want, but yeah, if you ever decide to get into it, make sure that there's somebody there who can let you out just in case something goes wrong. Now, the reason why you would want to lock this down is so that if you stand it up or you move it around or something, then the doors aren't swinging open and banging against stuff, and you don't want the finish to get dented. So that's like one reason to have a lock on here. I'm sure there's maybe other reasons, but that's what I've noticed. Now this one's another model that is, again, it's a gray one, and it's a steel coffin, and it was pretty complete, but it didn't have a bed, so I made a bed for it today. I'm kind of trying to fix them up and make them look nice. And it didn't have a pillow, so I just went to Walmart and I bought this little pillow. And, you know, unless you were in the business, you would think, oh, that's the pillow for it. So it's good enough. But if you really know about coffins, you'd know that wasn't the correct pillow. Now you can see right here what I'm saying about little locks and stuff is it has a top one and a bottom one. This one's a little different. The other one has a screw lock at the bottom, a bolt lock, but this one just has a little latch. And if you lock the top or the bottom one, or I don't know if it fell over and like bumped this or something while you were in it with the door closed trying to film, and then bam, you get stuck in here. Of course, it probably wouldn't fall over on the side, it'd probably fall over on the front. But I don't know, if it fell over on the front, like, would you be stuck in there? I don't know. So things you gotta think about. You don't wanna mess around with these things. Now the all white one is actually really cool looking when it's laying down and you could see like the handlebars and everything. But when it's standing up, it looks a lot like a refrigerator. And it's all, you know, it's all steel, so it kind of, yeah, it reminds me of a refrigerator. Now see, this one has cardboard inlay, and then it's got this crinkly fabric over it. And again, I don't think it's glued down. I think if you just pulled on this whole thing would like come apart. And like up here, the little latch has this nice little sleeve that goes over it. But these ones are ones where you push it, and once you open it all the way, you push it to a certain extent, and then it holds the door open. But if you want to close it and you don't want to break it, you gotta break that little axle, that little joint, so that you could close it, or you're gonna mess it up. Okay, so here's the actual pillow that goes in it, and you can see, at least the ones I've come across, they have this little crinkle cut fabric on it, and which is specially made for coffins. So the back side doesn't have anything, but you know, and then they're like a kind of like a really hard, large pillow. Now this one right here is upside down. So this is actually the bottom. See how you can see the top end is made up, but the bottom end, the door is not made up. So you could see it's made up on that end. Now it doesn't have like all the internal stuff on this one, and that end right there has a little trap door, and if you undo these hinges right here, I think a few screws, and that it's supposed to swing up. And this is actually the feet portion, so that a body can be slid in and out of it through the feet portion. Now this one, I took the roller bed out of here because it was like a wooden roller bed, and it had the little lift on one end, because this thing is so heavy that I don't know how much it weighs, but if you try to lift it from the ground and stand it up at about 45-degree angles, you swear your back is going to explode. You really shouldn't. You shouldn't be moving any of these around without a second person, but I guess the metal ones and the fiberglass ones and that wood one, I guess it's okay. It's not the best to move it by yourself, but this one is crazy heavy. I'll move it around, but I'm not going to lift it up again. So right now it's upside down, and that's why it's staying that way until somebody comes over and helps me flip it over. Now this one is a very nice looking casket, and it's called root beer, the color that it's painted. So if you like root beer, you could be buried in this one. Now the liner on this, I don't know if it just looks white on the video, but it's a little bit more of a cream color, and it's very nice. It came with the pillow, and let's see, the pillows down there come with everything. So this is fully finished, which is really nice. Okay, so here's the mannequin right here, and the mannequin is displaying Victorian mourning outfit. Now these three coffins are really cool. I really like them, but they're actually made of fiberglass, and they're called like an indigent coffin because if you don't have money for a burial, then the state will pay for your coffin, but it's going to be the cheapest one that they can make. The nice thing about these, it's kind of like a big Tupperware, but and you can stack them, and you can stack the lids, so it's kind of like Tupperware, but it's made of fiberglass. And the nice thing about them actually is they're the lightest ones. Still, you can, if you take the lid off, you can carry the lid, and then you can carry the coffin by yourself and just like pick it up and even like throw it over your shoulder and like walk with it. So it still is kind of heavy, honestly, but it's the lightest one of all the coffins I have. And so these ones are really nice. I have like 3 full lids, and then I have this one specialty lid that is a perfection style lid, and it opens halfway through. But I'll tell you, that perfection style lid, it looks really nice, but it's also really heavy because it's got wood tacked onto the bottom. Here's the setup that we're going to use for a music video. I got a nice assortment of flowers, and I made this little rail thing that goes with funerals. It's supposed to hold the coffin up, and also a support, so the coffin's about 3 or so inches off the ground. It looks a little better, but usually at a funeral this rail would be made of steel, and it would be holding the coffin up so it doesn't fall into the hole. And then it's usually silver because it's like metal, but I tried painting the wood silver, and because of the graininess of it, it wasn't working out, and I didn't want to try sanding all of this like super smooth, and I don't think it would have worked anyways. But so mine is just gonna be a wood one. So this is the setup we're gonna have, except for this video it's gonna be the dark brown coffin, not the wood one, but another steel coffin. So basically like this. I think I need like a green blanket to go into there. Like, you know, like something like that might have worked out. Or technically it should be that AstroTurf stuff, but that stuff is expensive, so I don't know. Also, under here you really can't tell, but I put a board under there because these coffins, about half of them want to lean forwards, and you know, you don't want them falling over. They're a little precarious standing up. Really not made to stand up at all. And then up here I put chains with little C-clamps to hold them together. It's locked to the carrying bar, whatever that's called. So the little bar that you carry it with, and chained up to the rafters. So just in case, I don't want these things falling over. And all these doors are locked, so if there was an earthquake, these doors wouldn't come swinging open and hit a car in the garage or something.